Happy Sunday, gang. Hope you all doing well. I'm going to go over something this week and do something a little different. I'm going to show you, if you know me, you know one of my biggest influences in life is Andy Stanley. He taught me so much about knowing God on a very, very personal level. And my faith becoming very real, not just something my parents taught me, not just something I studied in the Bible, but making my faith absolutely real in every single thing I do. And if you grew up like I did, so much was your faith was because the Bible said so, and because I've seen it modeled so much in my two parents. Now, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't trade that for the world. Both my parents are unbelievable. I've seen them have unwavering faith, like I said, my entire life, and they still do. And I'm still a very strong believer in the Bible, God's Word. I read it every single day, and I will till I die, because that's how the primary way God speaks to us. But what Andy Stanley covered in his last message talked about the early Christians. They became Christians. They believed and followed Christ because he rose from the dead. And you're going to have atheists in today's world and all over the internet attack you in so many ways, try to debunk the Bible and all that. But you have to go back and remember our faith was based on Jesus Christ rising from the dead, period. He lived a life, he did a bunch of miracles, he died on a cross, bam, he came back to life and went and ate lunch with the disciples and many other people as well, and then ascended back to heaven. That's what our faith is based on. So I want to play a little clip. I want you guys to tune in and watch this next few minutes of Andy Stanley talking about this, and I'll also put a link in the description for the entire message. But I thought that it would be in good timing this week to really focus on why we truly believe what we believe. If you're a Christian, you're a Christ follower, what's the real reason at the nitty-gritty dirt roots you believe what you believe? So check out this video clip. Hope you guys have a great day. God bless you.
And from house to house, they never stop teaching and proclaiming the good news that Jesus is Messiah. Now, here's what I don't want you to miss. These, if you're a Christian, these are our people, okay? This is why we are here. This is how Christianity survived the first and second and the beginning of the 3rd century. This is actually all the way to the beginning of the 4th century. This is how the message of Jesus survived the temple, because the first persecution of the Christians was not Rome. The first persecution of Christians was the temple. And the Christianity survived both the temple and the empire. And there was no book. There was no the Bible. There was something else. There was fearlessness, there was boldness, and there was courage, because God had raised a man from the dead. And when God raises a man from the dead, you take everything he had to say seriously. And when you have met that man, you're fearless. That the 1st century believers, they weren't even called Christians yet. That would come later. They embraced what I want you to embrace, and what our children must embrace, and what our grandchildren must embrace. They embraced the 1st century version of faith. They embraced the standalone version. I don't need a book to prop up my faith. I don't need you to explain creation to me to prop up my faith. The whole Noah thing, it's fascinating. I don't know, but that's not what props up my faith. Christianity can stand on its own 2 nailed, scarred resurrection feet. The foundation of your faith and mine is not a book. It is an event. That the Bible did not create Christianity. Christians eventually created the Bible. And this is where we must stand in our new generation, This is where we must stand in the misinformation age. This is where we must stand. And it is not new. It is just perhaps new to you and new to us. But if we were to say, Peter, what's the foundation? Where do you find your hope? Where do you find your courage? He wouldn't quote a verse from the Old Testament. He wouldn't quote a verse at all. He'd say, are you kidding? God raised his servant Jesus from the dead, and he has promised salvation for the whole world. Whew. So